Time once again to go back into the archives, or to open them back up rather, and make another entry. This time we were greeted by the greatest thief in the multiverse himself, Dak Faden, as we're going to take a look at the first, I guess, truly multiplayer-themed set release that isn't like Plane Chasing this and that, or Commander, in the form of Conspiracy, which was, I guess, our second sort of release in what is now becoming the annual summer-ish fun sort of set. You know, this is between Modern Masters 1 and then Modern Masters 2, so I would assume maybe next year we get another sort of fun product like this, maybe our third unset, or, you know, another sort of conspiracy-like set. So, as you can see here, the packs are sort of sideways, and again, this whole thing was made to be played in multiplayer style, as hopefully you'll see by the mechanics here. It was also made for draft in mind only, so there's a lot of fun sort of draft interacting cards, as again, hopefully we'll see inside here. So let's take a look at our pack and see what we got. As I might have mentioned in the Modern Masters video previously, this was a lot of reprints, but what sort of sets us apart from Modern Masters is the fact that there's also several new cards printed for this, specifically just for Conspiracy in mind, in the form of conspiracies themselves and other just interesting cards. So here's our little rules card. We got here a little just tidbit on the old Dak Faden himself, with a little ad on the back. So let's take a look at our pack. What we got here. Our first card here is going to be a Courier Hawk, and if my camera would focus, that would be amazing. So can we get it? There we go. Alright, so Courier Hawk here is a 1/2 flyer with flying and vigilance for 1 and a white, so pretty decent card there. We have Enclave Elite, who for 2 and a blue is a 2/2 with Island Walk and Multi-Kicker, meaning that every time you pay 1 and a blue and you cast him, he enters with a extra 1/1 counter for each time he was kicked. We have next Screaming Seahawk, who for 4 and a blue is a 2/2 flyer, that when he enters the battlefield, you search your library for a card named Screaming Seahawk, reveal it, put it into your hand. If you do, shuffle your library. There are several cards sort of with this mechanic that made use of that try to make use of some of the more interesting conspiracies in the set. We have Flowstone Blade, that's a 1 red aura, where pay a red, and enchanted creatures +1/+1, -1 until end of turn. I really like the old Flowstone mechanic. I hope that, you know, if one day we went back to Dominaria, that sort of like wrathy stuff, we could see Flowstone again as sort of like, as opposed to Fire Breathing, where it's +1/+0, we get the whole sort of Flowstone effect here where it grows and shrinks. Our next card is going to be a Wake Dancer, for 2 and a black. It's a 2/2 Human Shade with Morbid, and that whenever it enters the battlefield, if a creature died this turn, put a 2/2 black zombie token on the battlefield. Tapped. No, this one's not tapped, so this is before really zombies all started coming into play tapped. Morbid is really interesting for this set in that they really expanded on Morbid with a lot of newer cards, and it actually made for a really fun mechanic, and one of my favorite decks to draft sort of in this format. Good old Ninja Turtle here with Sakura Triballer for 1 and a green. You get a 1/1 Snake Shaman that you sacrifice from search your library for a basic land card, put that on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Really good sort of commander staple there, even though it's a very inexpensive card. Liliana Spectre for 1 black. You get a 2/1 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. Very classic sort of powerhouse here that on multiplayer again is a very powerful effect. We have Nature's Claim here. That is a 1 green instant to destroy target artifact or enchantment, and its controller gains 4 life. So cheaper, sort of naturalized, but your opponent does gain 4 life. We have Rousing of Souls for 2 and a white. With the new mechanic, it's a sorcery with the new mechanic Parlay, which means that each player reveals the top card of his or her library. For each non-land card revealed this way, you put a 1/1 white spirit token with flying onto the battlefield, then each player draws a card. So this sort of mechanic is, there are a lot of things that sort of involve, if your opponent reveals a non-land card, you get some sort of upside for each non-land card just revealed in general, and then everyone draws that top card. So sort of information going around, and everyone draws a card, and then you get some upside, hopefully, out of it. We have Jetting Glassskite for 4 blue. It is a spirit that's a 4/4 with flying, and whenever it enters the battle, whenever it becomes the target of a spell or ability for the first time in a turn, count that spell or ability, so does the Glass Kite ability that we're all sort of known with as our first uncommon. So we have Spontaneous Combustion, that for 1 red-black is an instant. Additional cost, sacrifice a creature. So again, I really enjoyed the Jund Morbid deck that you could draft in this. And then it deals 3 damage to each creature. So very good sort of board wipe here. One of my favorite cards in the set, though, however, is this card right here, Squirrel Nest, for 1 green Enchanted Land. And Enchanted Land has put a 1/1 green squirrel token onto the battlefield. So squirrels, a lot of fun. Our rare is going to be a Reflecting Pool. Another, again, I guess, good commander card. We're adding 1 mana. It's a land that taps to add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. So, double command tower right here. Our foil looks like it's going to be, again, like Modern Masters, this set didn't have any basics and it had all foils instead. For 2 black, each player loses 1 life for each creature he or she controls. It's a sorcery. So pretty good here. Multiplayer, you draft a non-creature deck. And the last card in every pack is going to be a conspiracy sort of only card, special sort of card that interacts with the draft in a special way. This one's very cool in that it actually does nothing outside of the draft unless you want to put it in a queue or things like that. Palion of the High City. It's a legendary land. Reveal Palion of the High City as you draft it. The player to your right chooses a color, you choose another color, then the player to your left chooses a third color. Add 1 mana to your mana pool of any color chosen as you draft the cards. The card's named Palion of the High City. Oh, sorry about that. So again, in the draft, you know, it gives you 3 land. Your opponent picks a color. You maybe you're on, because in this sort of format you actually end up probably in like at least usually for sure 2 colors, maybe 3. I usually end up in 3 colors. Sometimes even a 4th. So you know. Your opponent picks a color, hopefully you get this early, your opponent picks a color, you pick a color, and the guy next to you probably picks a color you're not on. So a really cool land here that, again, if you're not playing Q or something like that, it just does nothing, but a cool effect nonetheless. Alright guys, well that's going to be it for Conspiracy. Sorry about all the flubbing there, it's been a long day. So, yeah, that's Conspiracy. Got to show off some of the cool things. Not... You know, the card I would have hoped to have seen, would have hoped to have seen, like, actually a Conspiracy, or one of the more interesting interacts with the draft cards like Cogwork Grinder, or Cogwork Librarian. But again, that's a really cool land nonetheless. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this time. I'm going to put this in the archive, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!